Hey everybody, One of Wisdom here, about 3:50 a.m. Just introduced Magna Charge. He's actually still on the portal because I want you to get to see this, intro screen here for Nitro Magna Charge. Again, basically going to be a bit redundant here. It's essentially the same stats, same story, same upgrades, but again, where some people may know about Magna Charge, they'll just have an explicit interest in, hey, want to see what Nitro looks like in the game, want to see what NMC stats are, etc. So that's why it's a standalone video. That way, instead of having, like one 30-minute video, there'll be two 15-ish minutes, and, you can kind of custom tailor what you want to see that way, not have to, like, fish around in the video. So, getting back out of here, we're at the training grounds. Here's a look at Magna Charge. My apologies, it's dark. We left Jungle Rumble here, but get a pretty good feel for him. Again, main thing, pay attention to that character there right above the level 5 and everything. Gives you a feel for his true colors. I'm going to go ahead and pull Magna Charge. Literally, pull, that's a good term for him. And here comes Nitro Magna Charge.
Attract to attack.
As you can see there, Nitro Magna Charge special. You can tell by level 1 and no coins. He hadn't done anything here, and that's because I kept him box stock for you. Basically, I put him on the portal again to document health and damage numbers from his attacks. Now, swing him over here, you can really, tell the color difference, as we play with him, you'll be able to tell. This is what he looks like jumping, pretty much the same thing. We'll stand here. You can press Y or hold down Y, and then eventually you'll overheat. 14 to 21 is what you're going to do with the primary attack. Secondary attack kind of does two things. Number one, you speed up quite significantly. Number two, when you get close to an enemy or something you can actually pick up, you can swing it around. Then later on, we can kind of deal some damage, slam it, etc. That'll do like a 15. What was I think I might have seen like a 25 with it one time. What you get there was a 25 right there. So primary 14 to 21, secondary 15 to 25. That's basically kind of what you need to know damage-wise there. Let's go ahead now. Come in and actually take a look at his background story. You got a Spyro's head here. Come into tech. It does have a separate entry here. Nitro Magna Charge special, just like you saw on the screen there. Attract to attack is going to be the slogan. We're going to read the bio. Sadly, as you can see, it's Magna Charge, not Nitro, but for what it's worth, it was his picture initially, so 50-50, can't complain a whole lot. Slogan again, attacked to attract. Attract to attack. I'm sorry, I'm really tired and kind of losing my voice / having trouble breathing, so I'm hoping this peppermint helps out. Magna Charge came from the great race of Ultron robots, but was mysteriously created with a giant magnet head. This proved problematic as his peers were all made of metal and were constantly being pulled towards him. As a result, Magna Charge was exiled to a faraway island where he eventually learned to control his magnetic powers. After years of training, he returned to his home to demonstrate his abilities, but found everything completely destroyed. In searching for answers, Magna Charge caught the attention of Master Eon, who realized a unique Ultron soldier was a perfect candidate for the Skylanders. So, pretty cool background story there. Again, that island, he was exiled to his homeland, what happened to his people. All that makes great stuff, not only for the novels, but like for potential, future levels, games, bonus mission, all kinds of stuff. So, that's why I kind of like to include this type of stuff here. Should be getting wind up pretty soon, so that'll be neat with the Sheepwreck Islands. We're going to go ahead and back out of here. Come in now, we're going to go to Skylander, take a look at his stats.
In all areas. Not surprisingly.
Sad thing here, the card, which again the cards don't really mean much, they showed the stat boost. And speed particularly, they're supposed to have that in Nitros. This is the same stats as Magna Charge. 280 max health, box stock. Speed 50, armor 18, critical hit 6, elemental power 25. He's 42 here, he's plus 7, for the other tech character, and then plus 10 for the, special bonus of the day type thing. Personally, the darks, the legendaries, the nitros, I would love to have seen like a genuine stat differential for these characters, but I guess it is what it is. That said, we're going to come in now, take a look at his upgrades. Anything you hear me talk about from this point forward is going to be the top until I tell you otherwise. So that's the best way I can kind of help you keep things straight here. Primary attack, which was dealing 14 to 21. It's called the Magnet Cannon. Hold Y to rapidly fire energy projectiles. Firing for too long will cause the cannon to overheat. Now, up next is Polarized Pickup. Press X to pick up enemies, press X again to slam them, while active loot will be drawn in from a distance. Obviously, we don't have this right now. I think on the 3DS it's a box stock type deal. If not, you unlock it really fast. That one's going to be pretty interesting. Second purchased upgrade for the top end, Plasma Shots. Hold Y to rapidly shoot a magnet cannon that does increased damage. Projectiles heat up after a short time, dealing extra fire damage. This is one of those things you probably need to see. Last purchased upgrade for the top half, Magnetic Buildup. Hold an object with polarized pickup for a short time. Release it to deal extra damage. Again, literally a time attack. You need to set it up. Obviously, you don't want to be doing this if you're sitting there taking tons of damage from, greaser trolls or something. But if you can set it up, you can wheel an enemy, then run around, evade some tougher enemies, and then charge this up and unleash the fury. Go for it. Get to a point now on the top half where you have to pick a path. Top path here for the top half, if that makes any sense. Magnetic Armaments Path. Begins with Discharge Recharge. Hold Y to overheat the magnet cannon, which is easy to do. Release to shoot a large fireball. So basically what this means, when you max out, you've held it down too long, you got a ton of enemies, you haven't killed them all. Great thing here, when you overheat it, you release it, obviously, so you can shoot again. But when you release, you're going to do a fireball, which will be nice, and then you can come back in and rinse and repeat till you've cleared the area. Second upgrade down, Magnetic Armaments Path is called Heavy Blaster, and Magnet Cannon does even more damage. So that's kind of a no-brainer there, obviously addressing only the primary, if you will. Coming down, you have the Magnet Tuner Path. It begins with Burst Pickup. Picking up enemies with polarized pickup will knock back nearby enemies. That sounds interesting, but again, it's one of those things I feel like you really need to see it in person to evaluate. That is followed up with Magnetic Personality. Magnet attacks do increased damage. 2-ton loss states if it has mass, it can be slammed. Now, Soul Gem for the top half is called Multi-Barrel. This sounds pretty promising. Upgraded Magnet Cannon that shoots 3 projectiles at once. Obviously right here, you've got the one shot at a time, which was pretty rapid till it overheats. As you upgrade, you're going to do a fireball when it overheats. But now, that same time frame it took for you to get to the point of overheating, you'll be doing essentially triple the damage because you've got triple the firepower. So, can't really go wrong there. From this point forward, everything we talk about is going to correlate specifically to the bottom end, the legs, the lower half, charge, whatever you need to do to keep it straight. Bottom end here. Base attack that we've got right now is Magneto Ball. Press A to drag an enemy around. Press A again to launch them forward. Large enemies cannot be dragged. This is kind of what you see me do with the sheep right there, the training grounds. At this point in time, you basically can just kind of grab them and move them, throw them, get them out of your way. Nothing too crazy. First purchased upgrade is Eject. Press X while dragging an object or enemy to throw it behind and boost forward. This, I'm assuming that would damage them, not 100% sure, but one thing we do know, it will definitely help you, evade an area, get out of trouble. Second purchased upgrade for the bottom half, Rad Wheels. Speed is increased. You can never go wrong when speed is increased. I'm a very big believer in that mantra. Brand new developments in Magnet Wheels. final purchased upgrade for the bottom half, drag capacity. Now instead of dragging one of the sheep, we can basically drag two. Two enemies can be dragged at once while dashing. Now on the lower end, or the legs, you get to a point, you've got to pick your path. This top one here is going to be called static build-up path. Starts out with shock stop. Press Y while dragging an enemy to drop it in front of you and shock it. That is followed up with crash test. Shock stop and eject do increased damage. So eject goes back, of course, to his first upgrade on the bottom half. If you're not a fan of that setup, you can take the drag racer path. It begins with rapid repel. Press Y while dragging an object or enemy to shoot it without stopping. Then we've got opposites repel. Rapid repel does increased damage, repulsive. And lastly, we've got the soul gem, super repulsor. A new wheel makes thrown objects gain increased damage, range, and speed. Essentially the trifecta there for you. So, that's Nitro Magna Charge. Again, exactly the same as Magna Charge. We're going to back out here, take a look at his quest. A little bit redundant again, but it is what it is. First 6 really basic, you should know them. Bad Guy Basher, defeat 1,000 enemies. Fruit Frontiersman, eat 15 pieces of fruit. Flawless Challenger, complete a non-story mode level with full health. True Gladiator, win 10 PvP matches. Totally maxed out. This to me is like the big one. It's going to take the most time in all likelihood, but it's worth it in the end. Reach level 20 and get all the upgrades. Elementalist, deal 7,500 elemental damage. Now, the true tech-specific ones, in my opinion, you've got Out-Teched, defeat Glumshanks in Jungle Rumble without switching Skylanders. That's not too big a deal. Just kind of come in there, learn the strategy, which basically the first time you beat him, you'll have that down. If you have trouble with it, just level up the character, get him some more health, something along those lines. Shouldn't be too difficult there. Then you've got Problem Solver. Complete a total of 25 lock-picking puzzles with this Skylander. Main thing here, again, regardless if you're in an air or a fire zone, if you got a lock puzzle, switch to tech. It'll help you take care of these quests a little quicker. Now, Nitro Magna Charge's specific quest is called Now That's Using Your Head. Deal 5,000 damage using polarized pickup. That, of course, is the first upgrade that you can purchase for the top half. Don't think it'll be too terribly hard to do that. Again, you just have to refrain yourself from using the bottom end attacks, I suppose. So, we'll back out of here, back out of there. That is pretty much it for Nitro Magna Charge. Again, sad bit of news there if you're thinking, man, Magna Charge is sitting at 50. I bet Nitro's at least at 60 or 75 on the speed. No, it's the exact same stats. Hopefully, I can't imagine how this would happen. But my hope is that maybe if they hit level 20, and again, I don't see this happening, but thinking maybe if you max them all out, maybe that's when we see the speed difference between the two. Don't really know, but I am hoping to see it at some point in time. That's kind of like the whole reason you pick up the character. So that said, if you are a Magna Charge fan, Nitro Magna Charge is available only at Target here in the US. He's available in a double pack. You can kind of pick your poison whether you want Rattleshake or Free Ranger. That thing I told you before launch, that was going to be really hard to find. That's why I went to Target first. That has stayed true. Some Targets have them. My local one, I think twice since launch day I've actually seen them in stock, and that was like back-to-back weeks prior to Black Friday. Since then they have been missing in action yet again. I know some Targets, Super Target, you probably get better stock and everything, but at least in my area that I can speak of, very hard to find, just like Granite Crusher was last year with Giants. Probably going to be the same with Nitro Freeze Blade. They're going to get that initial shipment in and pick it up then. Save yourself the hassle. If you try really hard, you don't have luck at your local store, maybe a friend out of town can help you, or online, particularly here before Christmas, probably your best bet to make that happen. Looks pretty cool. Again, they're going to get Nitro Freeze Blade coming up. They also will have Turns out the double packs, just standard issue stuff, Gorilla Drilla, Boomjet, Firecrack, and Night Shift, that stuff's going to be Target exclusive too. I've got a blog post up on it with pictures. I figured that'd be like widespread release. I'm sure the other retailers probably going to get something special as well, but that's not really special. It's just if you don't have them, it would save you just like a couple of dollars. It's like the triple pack versus the singles kind of deal. So it might be worth pursuing. But again, if you're really bored or you're interested in what I talk about, what Magna Charge and NMC Nitro Magna Charge remind me of is a game from my childhood. I actually played it probably well past when I should have. But Super Solver's Midnight Rescue came from the Learning Company. I mentioned this at the start of the Magna Charge video. You're a kid, you don't really see your face, you wear like shorts, if I remember right, polka dot shorts, and like this giant green jacket and a red hat. You have a big magnifying glass. You're up against Morty Maxwell, the Master of Mischief. You have to save your school, Shady Glen Elementary School, from being painted with invisible paint by Morty Maxwell, the Master of Mischief, with his 5 robotic paintbrushes. Once again, why any kid would stop their school from being painted with invisible paint is beyond me. If this was real life, I would have been out there with Morty throwing gallons of invisible paint at the school. That said, it's one of those things I remember really well. There's like Rolo, Electro, Pogo, Turbo. I see elements of each of those robots kind of in Magna Charge. I've mentioned this well before Magna Charge was out, well before Swap Force was out. If anybody's curious about that, it's real sad because it's Windows 95 and like currently you can't play those games, like a modern Windows-based computer. It's one of those deals. I would actually come in. There's a couple of like MS-DOS games and Windows 95 games. I would actually do playthroughs of those, just kind of like for the sake of nostalgia, But I've got it. I'm actually, it's here at my desk. I'm looking at the CD-ROM case. This is like when CD-ROMs were a big deal. People just went away from like the giant floppy disks down to the 3.5s, and the CD-ROMs came, and it was like, whoa, revolutionary, But pretty cool game. I think the version I had is like one of the later ones. One of my friend's house, he had like the floppy disk one. Graphics weren't as good on that one. That was probably like probably like a 92-ish release, or 93, something like that. Glory Day time. Back when the SNES ruled the streets there. And I actually got love Super Mario World. That's still my favorite game of all time, but I got a Sega Genesis there. Couldn't go wrong with Sonic games, But anyway, I'll quit rambling about that. Main thing, Magna Charge, Nitro Magna Charge, NMC, as you'll probably hear me refer to him as from time to time, reminds me of a good time in life, simple time in life, playing Super Solver's Midnight Rescue. So, like I said, if you're bored, Google it. You can probably pull up some pictures of the robots and Morty Maxwell, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about there. So, not sure if anyone else playing Skylanders at this point in time is going to tell you that type of stuff, but I figure, what the heck, something I remember reminds me of Magna Charge again. That's kind of probably why I was so interested in the guy. But it is what it is. Again, if you get bored, that'll kind of entertain you for 10-15 minutes or so, however much time you invest in it. But I don't know, if you still got an old Windows computer and you can find a copy of the game, you can let your kids play, and then years down the road, when they're 20 years older and they're playing some game with robots, they'll be like, hey, this is like that game I played when I was a little kid. But I'll quit rambling. I think what we will do, might just go ahead and do Gorilla Drilla Firecracking, and then that way I can kind of do the 2 teleporters at the end and then lead into the legendary. So I think that's what I'll do. So stay tuned for that. I guess we will do Gorilla Drilla, just because I kind of like him, I think, better than Firecracking. I know, don't throw stones, we'll have to fully upgrade each one before I make my final judgment, but just initially, I'm not too big on fire cracking, but that may change. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. Is an interesting character, but I will leave it at that. We'll save all that for another time, another place. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. That'll keep you up with all the latest. You can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Again, thanks for watching, and we will be back here to introduce Gorilla Drilla.